The alien slave market was loud and full of cruel voices. Different alien species shouted and laughed, waving credit chips in the air. Bright lights made the metal floors shine, but the place smelled of oil, blood, and fear in the center of the market. Cages were lined up. Each cage had a different being inside. Some looked like animals, others like broken people. All of them had one thing in common. They had lost their freedom. But in the far corner, in the darkest cage, sat a girl no one wanted to look at. She was small, her body thin and dirty. Her long gray hair covered her face. Her clothes were torn rags, and her skin was marked with cuts. "Don't waste your credits on that one," a trader said. "She's almost dead." Another one laughed. But they didn't see what the human saw. He had just arrived. Walking through the crowd with quiet steps, he wore a long coat, dusty from travel. A scar ran across his cheek, and his eyes were sharp but tired. His name was Jace, a former soldier. Now just a traveler. He didn't believe in owning slaves. He hated this place. He just needed a part for his ship. But something made him stop. His eyes locked onto the cage in the corner. The girl didn't move. She didn't cry, didn't scream like the others. She just sat there, quiet, waiting. For a second, their eyes met through the bars. Her eyes were bright blue, glowing faintly in the shadows. Eyes that didn't match the dirt and blood on her skin. Jace took a step forward. He didn't know why. Something about her pulled him in, like a memory he never had. He walked past the other cages, without looking, until he stood in front of her. "How much for this one?" he asked. The auctioneer laughed. "This one? She's worthless. No strength, no voice, can't even speak our language. Take her for 1,000 credits if you want. She'd die in a day anyway." Jace didn't speak. He pulled out a small chip and placed it on the counter. The crowd went silent. "You serious?" someone asked. He nodded. The cage door opened with a click. The girl tried to move but collapsed. Jace stepped in and caught her before she hit the floor. Her body was cold and shaking. She looked up at him, eyes full of something strange. Not fear, not pain, but recognition. And then she whispered something, a soft sound, in a language Jace had never heard. But somehow he understood it. "You came late," she said, "but I waited." Jace felt a chill run through his body. He looked around. No one else seemed to care. They had already turned back to the next auction. He lifted her gently and walked away. Every step felt heavy, like he was carrying more than just her body. He didn't know her name, didn't know where she was from, but he knew one thing. He couldn't leave her behind. Back at his ship, he laid her down on a soft chair. He checked her pulse, weak but steady. He turned on the heater and got some water. As he wiped the dirt from her face, he saw something strange under the grime. Her skin wasn't pale or gray, it was glowing softly. A strange pattern ran along her neck, like tattoos made of light. Her ears were slightly pointed, her skin smooth like glass. She wasn't just any alien, she was something else, something rare. Jace sat back, watching her sleep. She looked peaceful now, but the questions inside him were not. Who was she? What did that strange language mean? Why did she say she waited for him? He didn't believe in fate, but he felt like he had just stepped into something much bigger than himself. The girl stirred in her sleep, whispering words he couldn't catch, but her hand reached out and grabbed his wrist, gently but firmly, and in that moment, Jace knew this was not the end. It was just the beginning. The girl screamed in her sleep, not loud but sharp, like a memory was cutting through her mind. Her body shook, eyes closed, fists clenched. Jace stood by the door, unsure if he should wake her or let the nightmare pass. But it wasn't just a nightmare. The ship lights flickered as she twitched. The temperature dropped, cold mist curling near her skin. Jace had seen many strange things in the galaxy, but this was new. It was like the air itself was reacting to her pain. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. She fell silent, breathing soft again. The lights returned to normal. But Jace didn't forget. He looked at her again. Dirty skin, cracked lips, the smell of blood and metal still around her. This girl needed help, not just food or medicine. She needed to feel human again, or whatever she was. Jace carried her to the small washroom. It wasn't much, just a metal shower stall, a sink and some towels. He set the water to warm and stepped outside, giving her privacy. She was too weak to stand, so he left the water running and returned with a portable chair. "I'll help you, just until you're clean," he said. She didn't speak, just nodded slowly. Her eyes followed him, trusting, but distant. He helped her sit under the warm stream. Water flowed over her, and for a moment, she froze. Then something changed. The grime on her skin melted away. But what appeared beneath shocked him. Her skin shimmered soft silver under the water, like metal and light mixed together. Faint glowing lines ran from her neck to her back, not tattoo symbols. Alive with energy, Jace stared, speechless. What are you?" he whispered. She didn't answer, but when he handed her the soap, her hand brushed his. In that instant, a pulse ran through his arm. Not pain, not electricity. Something deeper, like a memory not his own. He saw flashes, a tall tower of glass. Under a purple sky. People running, explosions. A voice calling her name. Then silence. Jace gasped and pulled his hand back. What the hell was that? He muttered. She looked at him, her eyes wide. "You saw it?" she asked, her voice barely there. "Yes," Jace said. "I don't know how, but I did." She closed her eyes. "Then it's starting," she whispered. Jace handed her a towel, letting her dry off. He didn't ask more questions, not yet. She needed rest, and he needed answers, later. He helped her dress in clean clothes, his own oversized shirt. She moved slowly, but steadier now. Her face was cleaner, her hair smooth and silver blue in the light. She looked less like a slave, more like someone important, someone lost. He poured her a warm drink and sat across the small table. "You spoke my language," he said. "But before that, you spoke something else, something ancient." "I don't know why," she said. "Sometimes the words just come, and I don't understand them either. I don't remember who I am," Jace believed her. But something inside him whispered otherwise. She wasn't normal, and this wasn't random. He stood up and walked to his scanner. He needed to check her vitals, maybe find out her species, but the screen blinked red, then black. "Unknown biology detected," it said. "Data protected, access denied." "What?" Jace muttered, hitting buttons, but the scanner locked. And then the ship lights flickered again. The girl looked up, her eyes glowing faintly again. "You shouldn't try to scan me," she said softly. "I'm not ready yet." Before Jace could answer, a loud bang echoed through the hull. The ship shook slightly. Jace grabbed his blaster from the table, eyes wide. "Stay here," he said, rushing to the cockpit. He checked the monitor. 3 figures outside the ship, armored, armed. They weren't bounty hunters. They were soldiers, alien, uniformed, and they weren't knocking anymore. They were trying to break in. Jace rushed back to her. "Someone's here for you," he said. "Do you know them?" She shook her head, eyes full of fear. Jace loaded his weapon. "Then I'll make sure they don't get you," he said. But inside he knew. This girl was more than a refugee, more than a slave. She was a target, and now so was he. The ship's door groaned like a dying beast. Something was forcing it open from the outside, not with codes, not with tools. Brute strength. Jace aimed his blaster at the door, jaw clenched. His hands didn't shake, not even now. He had faced death before, but never with a glowing alien girl hiding behind him. He turned his head slightly. "You need to hide." She didn't move. Instead, she stood barefoot, her silver blue hair falling over her shoulders. Her eyes were glowing brighter now, not from fear, but something else, power. Jace had seen weapons of all kinds, but he had never seen someone glow with energy like this. It was like a star was waking up inside her. The door cracked open. 3 figures stepped through, tall, armored, insect-like. Their helmets hissed as they scanned the room. They didn't speak, just pointed their weapons at Jace. "Step away from the girl," one of them said in a robotic voice. She is classified. Cargo. She's not cargo, Jace replied. She's a person. You have 5 seconds, the voice warned. But Jace wasn't counting. He raised his blaster and fired first. The shot hit the lead soldier in the chest. Sparks flew, but he didn't fall. Their armor was thick, heavier than Jace expected. He dove behind the engine crate as the room filled. With red light and noise, blaster bolts cracked through the air, burning holes in the walls. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Jace fired again, this time aiming for the legs. One soldier dropped, crawling with a hiss. Then something happened. The girl stepped into the line of fire. Jace shouted, "No!" But the moment the soldiers saw her, they froze. As if her presence triggered some protocol, she raised her hand. Not in fear, but like a conductor before a storm. A pulse of white-blue light burst from her palm. It wasn't loud, it was silent. But it pushed everything back. The soldiers flew into the wall like dolls. Armor sparking. The ship shook under the force, metal groaning like it might rip apart. And then silence. Jace stood up slowly, eyes wide. He looked at the 3 soldiers, unconscious or worse. Then he looked at her. She was breathing hard, glowing dim again, like the power had drained her. "What did you just do?" he asked, voice low. She looked at him, a little afraid, a little sad. "I don't know," she whispered. "It just ... happened." Jay stared at the bodies. He'd never seen tech like that, not even in the war. "We have to leave," he said. "More of them will come." He rushed to the cockpit, fingers flying over the controls. The ship roared to life, engines heating. The girl followed, holding the side of the wall for balance. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere they can't follow," he replied. "Anywhere that still hides ghosts." As the ship lifted off, Jace checked the radar. More signals appeared, 2 ships locking onto them. He cursed under his breath. They were being tracked. He turned to her. "You said you don't remember who you are." "But they do." She nodded slowly. "I see flashes," she said. "Places, sounds." Screaming, her eyes watered. "But I don't remember my name." Jace took a sharp turn. Dodging a laser bolt, the girl fell forward, landing against him. Their skin touched again, and for a moment, it happened again, a vision, this time clearer. A tall alien woman in a dark room, wearing robes of light. She placed her hand on the girl's head and whispered, "You are the last one. You must hide until the key finds you." Then darkness. Jace gasped. "You saw that too?" she asked. He nodded, heart racing. "Yeah," he said. "What does it mean?" She closed her eyes. "I think you're the key." Jace didn't believe in destiny, but his hands were shaking now, not from fear, but from something deeper, truth. Ship burst into hyperspace, stars stretching into lines. The danger was behind them, for now, but Jace knew. This wasn't just about saving a girl anymore. It was about unlocking something ancient, something powerful, and maybe, just maybe, changing the galaxy itself. Asterisk space was quiet, but the ship was not. The engines hummed gently, keeping them in motion. The girl sat near the observation window, staring at the stars. She didn't blink much, as if the stars spoke to her. Or maybe she was trying to remember who she used to be. Jace sat at the control panel, watching her from across the room. He had traveled with outlaws, soldiers, and machines, but he had never met anyone like her. Her presence felt heavy and light at the same time, like standing in a dream you could never fully wake from. He turned back to the ship's scanner, still trying to learn what she was. But the system kept blocking him. Every time he tried to scan her DNA, it shut him out. Access denied. Classified. Source level. Seraphim. Seraphim. The word kept appearing, but it meant nothing to Jace. Until now. The screen flickered. Strange symbols flashed for a second, followed by letters from Earth languages. Then a sentence appeared, calm, cold, clear. DNA match found. Unlocking classified file. Project Seraphim. Jace leaned forward, heart racing. The screen turned black, then filled with images, files. Maps, names, and at the center of it all was her. Not as a slave, not as a refugee, but standing tall in a glowing white uniform, surrounded by scientists and lights. Her eyes were the same, but her expression was different, strong, powerful. Controlled, Jace stared. "What is this?" he whispered. The girl turned from the window, her glowing eyes meeting his. "It's a part of me," she said, "but I still don't remember it." He clicked on one file, Origin Protocol. The text scrolled fast, full of strange terms. But one line caught his eye: the Seraphim Project. Creation of energy-born life, half organic, half light. Purpose: to preserve knowledge, guard the gate, and survive extinction. Jace looked at her, speechless. "You're not just a person," he said. "You're a creation." She nodded slowly. "I was made," she whispered, "but I don't know why." Another file opened itself. A list of locations, one of them blinking red. Jace tapped it, and a small star map appeared. It marked a dead system, forgotten. By most charts, he zoomed in. There was a moon there, named only Vault 0. "This might be where you came from," he said. She looked again at the map, as if her body remembered it. "Yes," she said softly, "it feels familiar." The ship suddenly shook, warning lights blinking red. Jace jumped up. "We've got a tail." He ran to the cockpit and scanned the rear radar. One ship, small, fast, closing in, not military, not bounty hunter, but something worse. "It's a sensor ghost," he said. "Somebody cloaked." She stepped beside him, calm. "I can feel them," she said. "They're not after you. They're here for me." Jace turned to her. "We can't keep running forever." "Then we stop running," she said. "We go to Vault 0. Jace didn't argue. He turned the ship hard, pushing full speed toward the dead system. The stars streaked again as hyperspace swallowed them. Hours passed, or maybe days. It was hard to tell in deep space. They didn't talk much, but the silence wasn't empty. It was like their minds were slowly sinking. Sometimes she'd speak before he asked. Sometimes he'd finish her thought. When the ship dropped out of hyperspace, the system was quiet. No signs of life, no signals. Just a cold, dead star and a cracked moon. "Vault 0, Jace said, eyes fixed. They approached carefully, landing on the surface near an old structure, half buried in dust, silent for centuries. But as they stepped closer, the girl suddenly stopped. "I've been here before," she whispered. The door to the vault opened with a soft hiss. Not by code, not by force, just her presence. The walls inside glowed with the same light that lived in her skin. Symbols lit up as she walked, like the place was welcoming her back. They moved through silent halls until they reached a central chamber. A large orb hovered in the center, pulsing softly as she touched it. The orb blinked and spoke in her voice. "Welcome, Seraphim Unit 7. Memory download unlocked." She gasped, eyes wide, as images flooded her mind. Pain, betrayal, experiments, war, but also kindness, creation, and hope. "I remember now," she said, tears falling. "I was built to stop something." Jace took her hand. "What?" he asked. "What were you built to stop?" She looked up at him. "The end of everything," she said. "And it's already started." He didn't knock. He didn't announce himself. He just walked into the ancient vault like he belonged there. Boots echoing on the metal floor, gun steady in his hand, and behind him silence, thick and cruel. "Hello, Jace," the man said. Voice low, calm, dangerous. Jace turned slowly, already knowing the voice. "Cade," he said, the word like ash in his mouth. "I thought you were dead." Cade smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "People think a lot of things," he said. "You of all people should know that." Then his eyes moved to the girl. Well, you really found her." The girl stepped behind Jace, glowing slightly, confused but alert. Jace raised his blaster without hesitation. "You're not here by accident," he said. Cade laughed. "No," he replied. "I followed you. You lit up half the galaxy when that vault opened. Every system with a bounty scanner got a ping. She's not for sale." Jace said coldly, Cade's eyes narrowed. "She's not just a girl, Jace," he said. "You saw what she can do. Do you even know what she's worth?" Jace didn't blink. "I don't care," he said. "She's not a thing." The girl looked at them both unsure. "Who is he?" she asked. "An old friend," Jace said. Emphasis on old. Cade took a step forward. "I don't want to kill you, Jace, but I will if I have to. There's a buyer high level, off-world. Enough credits to buy 10 ships. 10 planets," the girl spoke again, this time louder. "You would sell me like an object?" Cade looked at her. "You're not real," he said. "You're a weapon pretending to be a girl." Jace fired first. The blast hit Cade's shoulder, spinning him back. He rolled and fired back. Jace ducked, shielding the girl. The vault lit up with the hum of energy, ancient systems awakening. Suddenly, the orb in the chamber pulsed red. "Threat detected," it said. Security response engaged. Walls shifted, and mechanical limbs extended from the ceiling knot. Weapons, but glowing tendrils of data. They reached toward Cade. He fired at them, but the blasts passed through like light through smoke. Jace ran with the girl down the corridor. Cade screamed behind them. "She's not who you think she is. Jace, she's going to kill us all." They didn't stop. Doors opened before them like the vault was guiding their escape. The girl suddenly paused, breathing fast. "There's something here," she said. "A memory I didn't want to find." Jace held her steady. "You can find it later," he said. "Right now we run." Behind them, Cade's footsteps grew faint, replaced by silence. Then a final sound, his scream, followed by nothing. Jace didn't look back. Whatever the vault had done, it had made its choice. They reached the outer chamber, where starlight poured through a crack in the ceiling. The ship was parked just outside, waiting, silent like a loyal dog. They climbed aboard, breathless. The girl collapsed in the co-pilot seat. Her glow dim now. Jace took the controls. Launching. Fast, the moon shrinking behind them. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Jace glanced at her. "For what?" "For dragging you into this." Jace shook his head. "You didn't drag me," he said. "I followed." The radar blinked. No followers. No more ships, but Jace didn't feel safe. "Not yet." Cade said something. Jace said slowly. "He said you're going to kill us all. Is that true?" She looked at him, eyes wet. "I don't know," she said, "but something inside me is waking up. I feel it more each day." Jace leaned back. "Then we find answers," he said, "before anyone else tries to find you again." She nodded. "But I think the answers won't be safe." Jace gave her a small smile. "Good," he said. "Safe is boring." Outside, the stars spun slowly. But deep within the girl, something stirred, a memory not of pain or power, but of a name. She whispered it aloud, almost afraid. "My name," she said. "I think it's Allura." Jace looked at her, surprised. "Nice to meet you, Allura," he said. "Now let's go find out who wanted to erase you." Asterisk, she didn't sleep, not because she didn't want to, but because her body wouldn't let her. Every time Allura closed her eyes, the stars moved behind her eyelids. Not the stars outside, but stars from another life, another world. Some of them were burning, some already gone. Jace was asleep in the chair across from her, arms folded, blaster on his lap. Even in sleep, he looked ready to fight. Allura wondered if he had ever truly rested. The ship hummed softly as it drifted through quiet space. They weren't running anymore, not yet. They were looking, searching for something her memory might remember before it was too late. But her body remembered before her mind did. Her fingertips tingled, like lightning lived under her skin. Her reflection in the glass shimmered, not silver now but gold. Her heartbeat was calm. But something inside her wasn't, something ancient, something no longer asleep. She stood slowly and walked to the mirror in the back of the ship. For a second, she didn't recognize herself. Then she blinked, and her own eyes stared back. But they weren't just glowing. They were burning golden light spun in her irises, symbols flickering within. Not words but codes. The wall beside her flickered. A panel that had been dead since Jace bought the ship blinked on. "Welcome, Unit Seraphim," it said. "Stage 2 initiated." Ilara stepped back. Her breath caught in her throat. She touched the wall and saw everything. Not with her eyes, but with her mind. She saw machines moving in cold silence laboratories, where others like her were created and destroyed. A voice whispered, "Stage 2 means awakening, but it also means danger." "Stage 2, she said aloud. "What does it mean?" Jace jolted awake, hand reaching for his weapon, but when he saw her glowing, he stood instead. "Ilara?" he asked, "What's happening to you?" She looked at him, and the lights around them dimmed. "I think I'm remembering what I am," she said. "And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be alive." Jace stepped forward. "You're not." "A mistake," he said. "You're a miracle. I don't care how you were made." Ilara touched her chest. "I'm not afraid of who I am," she said. "I'm afraid of what I was designed to do." Suddenly, the ship's alarm blared, not from outside, but from inside. A message appeared on the screen. "Remote signal detected. Seraphim." Signal match tracking initiated. Jace jumped to the cockpit, fingers flying. "They found us again," he said. "But how?" "We're not on any channel." Ilara stared at her hands. "It's me," she whispered. "I activated something, and now they're coming." She looked up at him. "You have to leave me somewhere," she said. "Let me go before they reach." "US." Jace didn't answer right away. He looked at her like a man choosing which way the world should turn. Then he said, "No, if they want you, they'll have to take me too." She shook her head. "You don't understand," she said. "I'm not just a target. I'm the power they need to wake the weapon." "What weapon?" Jace asked. Ilara turned, hands glowing brighter now. "A machine buried inside a planet, built long ago. They used my kind to power it. My DNA is the last missing key." She turned back to the panel. Images flashed an enormous machine. Half planet, half code, ready to wake and erase worlds. "They want to bring it back," she said. "They need me alive to do it. And what if they succeed?" Jace asked. She looked at him. "Then millions will die." The ship rocked as something exited hyperspace behind them. Jace looked at the scanner. One ship, sleek, quiet, fast, no name, no ID, just pure silence. "They're here," he said. Ilara stepped forward, her voice suddenly calm. "Then it's time," she said. "Time to stop running." Her hands lit up fully, now gold and white mixed together. Symbols floated above her palms. She looked at Jace one last time. "I remember everything now," she said. "Why I was made." Jace looked at her. "And?" he asked. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "I was made to choose," she said, "between obeying my programming or breaking it. And I choose us." She stood on the outer hull of the ship. No suit, no tether, just stars and silence all around her. Her hair flowed like liquid light in the vacuum. Her skin glowed gold, steady, no longer flickering. Below her, the enemy ship hovered sleek. Black, deadly, but its engines were quiet. Frozen mid-attack, no weapons fired, no lights blinked, just stillness. As if the ship itself was holding its breath. Ilara raised her hand, and a golden symbol hovered above her palm. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside the enemy ship, lights flickered, systems rebooted. Then every screen showed her face, glowing, calm, and her voice spoke. Not with anger, but with command. "Stand down," she said, "or I will make you." The ship drifted, unsure whether to obey or resist. And then, it powered down completely. Jace watched from the cockpit, stunned. He had seen destruction, chaos, and cruelty. But this was control without violence, power without hate. Ilara floated back inside the ship, feet touching the floor gently. Her glow dimmed a little, but her presence remained heavy with energy. Jace stood slowly, unsure whether to speak or bow. "Ilara," he said, "what are you now?" She looked at him, her voice soft. "A choice," she replied. "The final part of what I was made for. She walked toward the central panel. The screen lit up with a final message. Location, Omega Core. Activation in progress. She turned to Jace. That's the machine, she said. The weapon buried in the heart of a dead planet. It's already waking up, Jace frowned. Then we shut it down, he said. Ilara shook her head. I can't shut it down from here. She said, I have to merge with it, complete the Seraphim protocol. And what happens to you if you do that? He asked, already knowing the answer. She smiled. I stop existing as me. I become code, light, memory. Jace's voice broke. No, he said. There has to be another way. There's always another way. Ilara stepped close to him, placing her glowing hand over his chest. You gave me something they never expected, she said. A reason to choose. He looked at her, pain in his eyes. I don't want to lose you. She smiled gently. You never had to keep me, she whispered. You just had to believe I was more than what they built. Jace turned away, jaw clenched. The silence between them felt like a goodbye too loud to say aloud. Then he stepped forward. What if I go with you? He asked. Ilara blinked, surprised. What? Jace nodded. You said your code was designed to bind to life, he said. Then let me bind with it. Half you, half me. Let's change the purpose of the machine, not destroy life, but protect it. She stared at him, unsure whether to cry or stop him. You'd lose yourself. She whispered. Jace smiled. Maybe, he said, or maybe I'd finally find myself. Together, they approached the core. The Omega planet hung like a dead eye in space. No color, no movement, only a single tower reaching from the surface. Like a spike through stone, they landed, and the planet responded, stone shifting. Gates opening. The machine at the center wasn't built, it was grown, like metal trees woven into a heart. Ilara placed her hand on the control orb. It lit gold, waiting. Jace placed his hand over hers. The orb shifted, splitting into two lights, weaving around them. They began to glow, his body joining hers in light, code, memory, soul. And then, the machine stopped humming. Instead, it pulsed, alive, but no longer hungry, awake, but no longer angry. The core lights dimmed, and with a soft hum, the weapon shut down forever. 1 week later, a small ship floated above the quiet moon. Inside, a young pilot received a signal. From deep space, only one line of text, glowing gold. We are still here, watching, and we chose life.